Hey everybody, it's me Timotika here. I was just today. I'm here to talk to you about something like before I get to my message, I just want to say to you guys that I'm sorry for not making too many videos lately. I've just been busy with work and DDI and stuff like that. And you want to know something like I actually have a lot of things on my mind, and didn't have many ideas to actually make videos until now. Like there has been something that has been on my mind lately, and that is that like cartoons and kids TV, and so on and so forth. Now I know I'm not in the target audience, but here's the thing: like I've watched many of the programming of certain TV shows. Not a lot, but some. Some of it, even the most recent ones. I'm talking about the whole decade of the 2010s, not just what's on TV now. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I really believe personally, I believe that a lot of whether it's cartoons and animation or anime or just I mean like not much with anime, but to some extent, yes. Um, I actually am. Yes, I want to say that like a lot of kids shows do suck these days, in my personal opinion. I mean, like I had this on my mind since 2012 when I first realized how the network back then between 2012 and 2016. Indeed, they really sucked. Not so much anymore, but today because there are some couple good shows that are now coming on networks, but I'm just gonna let you know I grew up with a lot of good TV shows like such as stuff that was on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and Disney. And you want to know something? A lot of the cartoons and kid shows, not just the cartoons, but the live action programming as well. They merchandised it, they commercialized it, they made a whole bunch of stuff about about making these shows, even documentaries about them, and some of them were even legendarily iconic. Like such as SpongeBob, for example. SpongeBob was definitely big back between 1999 and throughout the early to mid the late 2000s. I mean, like I'm talking about the first 2000s decade. In the first 2000s decade, since from 1999 to through like '09, like the first 10 years it was on the air, it was definitely great. I mean, I don't feel the same way anymore in present day. And but because a lot of the new episodes actually, the thing is, a lot of the entertainment industry, including the kids' channels, are very like all pop culture now and stuff like that. Like you want to know something? Another legendary cartoon that I feel the same way that's still airing is also The Simpsons. The Simpsons has yes, has been very iconic since 1989. And you want to know something? Even though it's not like quite much of a kid show, I think it's actually more of a family-oriented TV show. But unlike Family Guy and South Park, it's a great family-oriented TV show that, even though it's mainly for adults, it's still kid-friendly. They still make it kid-friendly for so kids can watch it too. And you want to know something? A lot of the recent episodes, some of them are pretty good, but a lot of them actually I've seen that aren't that great. I mean, I haven't. I mean, I used to watch The Simpsons all the time, like in the early 2000s, when I was still quite pretty much a kid. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I was basically watching The Simpsons with my dad all the time. And you see, like I watched a lot of cartoons and a lot of different types of kid shows, including game shows and anime that were kid friendly and stuff like that. People have said that anime is not quite cartoon and that it's mostly for teenagers and up. Not always the case because there's plenty of like animes that were actually made for kids. And you want to know something like such as one example, even though like they can still market it to teenagers and 20-some-year-olds and adults. I could pretty much tell you that Pokemon, for example, is actually mainly for kids, but they still cater stuff with it to like teenagers and up and 20-some-year-olds and adults too. And you want to know something like, and you want to know something, same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. The thing is, I used to watch a lot of cartoons, and I mostly liked a lot of the shows that I grew up with, such as SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents, that aired up through the 2010s. SpongeBob still airing, but Fairly Odd Parents is not. And you want to know something, like I used to watch shows like, I remember waking up on Saturday mornings or coming home from school on weekdays, including Friday afternoons, and actually watching stuff like Jimmy Neutron and SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents, and also on Nickelodeon. Like, I'm gonna start with the Nickelodeon shows, like, and also watching shows growing up as a child, from when I was a very small child up and through teenage years, up not through teenage years, up throughout the mid 2000s. Shows like Hey Arnold and Rugrats and Reddit and Rocket Power and Wild Thornberrys and Cat Dog and Angry Beavers. I loved a lot of those shows. And you see, like, I basically watched all different types of them. Like, there was also shows like I can remember, like, in Rocket Power, they are always going woogity 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 woogity, and also the episode when they were making like ice cream sundaes, and when Reggie was training constantly for a triathlon, and and when it was raining out and she couldn't train, they were making ice cream sundaes in the kitchen, and they were making a huge mess, like a skateboarding thing out of it, and then Reggie jumped out the window because Trey Fundo, their father, got home, and they would actually, and then Reggie jumped out the window, and then Otto and Twister got into serious trouble. And you want to know something, like they basically like Otto got grounded and Twister was banned from the Rocket vicinity. And Reggie was just kept it a secret the whole time that she had a part in it. But she didn't want to get grounded for the triathlon. But she came clean in the end. It was still pretty fun. It was still a pretty funny show to watch. I loved it when there was a part when Otto Rocket actually knocked out a bunch of cheerleaders, and then they were like, Otto! The coach was like, Otto! And then he was like, busted! And the word busted will come up on the screen. Mm-hmm. It was just it was fun, Same thing with Hey Arnold. Like, I remember, stoop, kids afraid to leave a stoop. Stoop, kids afraid to leave a stoop. And also because they had a kid, like Stoop Kid, who actually was afraid to leave a stoop, and he would harass and bully people on his stoop when people walked by his stoop. And you want to know something? Like, it was my favorite episode, the Stoop Kid. It was pretty much like an iconic episode of Hey Arnold. Like, I also with Cat Dog, I remember Dog going, hi ho diggity. I mean, it's a very creative show. Let's think about it. A cat and a dog together on the same body, who lives in a house that looks like a giant fishing boat. It has a rodent who's actually like a hipster dude. Hippie/hipster dude. And he takes advantage of Cat Dog. Then there's these greaser dogs who come and beat them up. And then there's actually Lola, like the Hispanic bird girl, who's like close friends with it, as well as Redson Rapid, who's like works every occupation. Sorry about that, folks. It was the screen goes dim when I leave it alone like that. Mm-hmm. And it was just a lot of fun. Like, the Angry Beavers was pretty funny too. I pretty much also liked, to be honest with you, the live action shows as well. Drake and Josh with the foam finger episode, and the Peruvian puff pepper, and basically and all that other stuff. Like they had so many good episodes. Like originally, Drake and Josh came from originally um, originally Drake and Josh came like was actually a live action show, and it actually came off they got their own show by coming off the Amanda Show, which is another good one, where Amanda Bynes hosted a comedy sketch variety show. And it had dancing lobsters, and they also have sketches like Judge Trudy, which is a spin-off of Judge Judy, and pretty much making fun of it. And then there's also Block Blister, when they made their home recorded movies to make fun of like the existing movies such as X-Men and Spider-Man and Stuart Little and stuff like that, which was pretty funny. And you want to know something? Not to mention, like, there was All That, which is another one. But hi everyone, it's time for Ask Ashley. That's me. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm here to answer more of your letters. You know, I loved that. Ask Ashley was my favorite skit on All That. There was also a show that was like Drake and Josh, too, like Keen and Kel. Who loves like, Kel would always say, like, we're always obsessed with orange soda. You know? That's another thing. Like, I heard that All That is coming back this year in 2019. And you know, like, and you know what? Like, I can't wait for it to come on the air. I really hope it's as great as the 90s version. But, you know, the early 2000s version, like, you know, it was very fun. Because it was a very funny show. I will, like, not just with that, too, but there was also, like, stuff, like, on Cartoon Network, like Dexter's Laboratory and Courage the Cowardly Dog and the original true Powerpuff Girls. I have a complete set of it on DVD. And Edda and Eddie, especially. Edda and Eddie was very funny. Like, there's, like, Eddie was, like, the one that's not so smart, who was actually a goofball and a messy dude, hillbilly and Billy Dude, and then Double D was like the smart genius one, and Eddie was like the wise guy who loved to scam people for money. It was very fun. Like, "Hey, you idiot! Stole my jacket!" What? Oh. I don't remember not much of the context, but let's see, they were like he was like, "Ed, you idiot! I thought it was those losers." Just, I don't remember everything that came from Ed and Eddie. It's, you know, like they would like Double D would be like, "Gracious. Like he's like I don't know what he could be a little bit manic too, Double D. And then yes, like it was just a lot of fun. Like Cody and Kids Next Door, especially like I love the stuff like Cody and Kids Next Door about just it's so creative. Like think about it, 5 kids with what they call themselves number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, who actually fight adult tyranny, like a lot of kids will do. It's so creative, you know. Like and the bad guys were creative too. Like Mr. Fib and Mr. Wink were like a couple of lazy bums. Then there was also like the bad guy like Sticky Beard the pirate, who had candy strapped to his beard. He was like, "I am Sticky Beard." Arrgh. And then there was actually Grandma Stuffums, who made terrible food, who was a bad cook old lady. You know, like it was just like you know it was actually pretty creative. Like they also had Mega Mom and Destructive Dad, robot versions of number 274's parents, who were evil. And then there was also and you want to know something? There was also they also made up side bad guy characters that actually weren't around very often, such as the terrible Tutor, and Mean Western Mom, and Soccer Mom. And there was also Count Spankula, who was a big one, a vampire dude who actually likes to spank the children. He's in the first season. He number one went on vacation, and he actually spanks the whole rest of his team. You know, it's it was a lot of and there was also Mr. Toilet Eater, who wasn't much of a bad guy, as well as the Common Cold. You know, neither of those two were actually that good of bad guy characters. But there was also delightful children from down the lane. And I'm sorry, my parents' alarm system's going off. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. And I'm sorry. Sorry about that, folks. But hopefully that didn't ruin the video. But that was beyond my control anyway. But you want to know something? It was just so much fun. There was also other shows that came along in the 2000s, such as Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That was pretty creative. I always had thoughts of Blue Regard Q Kazoo actually in my head before he was even around. I thought, it wasn't very popular thoughts. I didn't create him in my head, but I actually was but I thought of things similar to him, characters similar to him. And when he was presented, I was like, wow, I'm gonna like this character, especially when he presented himself. And his owner's name is Mac. And then there was also Wilt, the one who's tall and plays with a wonky eye and missing arm and plays basketball. And Eduardo, the big Mexican bull, strong furry Mexican bull dude who actually has an inner child. And Coco, who looks like a palm tree with a bird's body that's shape of a plane. You know? I also and there was also Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which was another one with the two rock star girls based off the two rock star girls who made songs for the theme songs to Teen Titans and the theme songs and the song that represented the Powerpuff Girls back in the late 90s, early 2000s. There was also Cartoon Fridays too. That it started off as Cartoon Fridays, where they always have the big pick where you could pick your favorite new cartoon show to be a new cartoon, and also they made several of them. One of the cartoon characters in the late 90s, early 2000s with Cartoon Network, one of them will host the show. And they'll interact with each other, and it was just it was so much fun. I looked forward to it every week. I will sit down, have pizza with my family, and actually just watch Cartoon Fridays while I sleep on the couch bed. It was a lot of fun. Even though it was just TV, it was still a lot of fun. I just liked it, you know? There was also, then there came the regular Fridays with also with live action and mixed animation and live action Fridays that was between 03 and 07. They used to, with Tommy and, what's her name? I forgot the girl's name. But, but you want to know something? They will host the show, they'll interact with some cartoon characters, they will interact with each other, there'll be some animation involved. Then they'll actually play shows like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Codename Kids Next Door and Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy, which was originally from Grim and Evil, and Evil Con Carne. Both of those shows were from Grim and Evil. Then they split them into two separate shows. You know, another one I also miss, Magoozy. They used to play all shows that were such as Teen Titans and Totally Spies and Code Lyoko. I loved Code Lyoko. Here we are, like a star shining bright on the world today. Make evil go away. Code Lyoko will stand real tall. Code Lyoko, be there when you call. Code. You know, it was a lot of Code Lyoko. It was just so. I just loved that shit. I liked those shows. That was all, and I even think they played some of the 4Kids shows like Yu-Gi-Oh! And also like Sonic X, even though it was on Foxbox and 4Kids Entertainment TV. Sonic X was a good show too. It had its time in the sun. Like you want to know something? Sonic got transferred to Earth and actually had to live with, and actually had and stayed with in a mansion of a kid named Chris Thorndike, who had a father who worked for the government and stuff like that, and runs several businesses. And his mom was like a movie star. And Sonic and his gang came there. They would actually be there, and they'll in the store throughout the whole show they'll fight Eggman and other creatures and monsters and stuff like that. It was an anime show based on Sonic the Hedgehog, but it was so great. It was such a great show. Some people don't think otherwise, but I think it was a great show, and people think, and I think it should have got another extra season or two. It was pretty much a good show. I really think they did the right thing by keeping it on the air when 4Kids Entertainment TV, when it ended, especially when 4Kids Entertainment TV became CW 4Kids. But you want to know something? I also like shows like Mucha Lucha, the Masked Wrestling show, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I also liked Toonami. They brought back Toonami in 2015, but they play more adult animes and stuff now than they did, unlike what they did back then. That had animes that catered to different audiences. They used to even have like movies like Kiki's Delivery Service and Castle in the Sky and Spirited Away. They used to have back in the mid 2000s, like 2006 and 2007 especially. They used to actually have like Monday night movies on Cartoon Network. They used to make it special. They had them not a few years ago, but it wasn't as special. They used to have the characters like in places like malls and airports and stuff like that. People have said how bad Fried Dynamite was, and I don't blame them, because to me it was a decent program, Fried Dynamite in 07 through 09 or through 08, but it wasn't that great. It was very repetitive. Same thing with Out of Jimmy's Head, because it was live action on Cartoon Network. I also, it was live action, but they still had some animation related remnants on it, elements on it. So they basically were just it's still okay as long as it's not taking up the program, which it did. As long as it's not taking up a high percentage of the program, like it did between 2009 and 2013. Sorry for that second. It was just, and also with Disney Channel too. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers was pretty good. I liked High School Musical and Camp Rock back when it was out. There was also some other musical trilogies back in the 2000s. They also had Hannah Montana. I liked Hannah Montana, and I mostly liked her music, but her show was still pretty cool as well. I also liked Jonas Brothers. People have said that, and there was also I also remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, they They had Lizzie McGuire in Disney Channel. I liked Lizzie McGuire. They had Even Stevens, which was a pretty funny show. They had the Cheetah Girls. They had Cheetah Girls. They had That's So Raven. Mm-hmm. And there was also Playhouse Disney too when they had preschool shows like Roly Poly Oly and Stanley and the Winnie the Pooh series, all the Winnie the Pooh series and stuff like that. For some of you, I know some of you actually like some of the older girly shows, such as like the older My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake, and there's even people who like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, known as Bronies and Pegasisters. I'm not going to bash you for that. I kind of liked those shows too. And there's also some people out there who like preschool shows, such as like Dora the Explorer and Caillou and Blue's Clues and Little Bill and Clifford the Big Red Dog and Dragon Tales and even other TV shows too. Like I'm actually realized I missed shows like Reading Rainbow and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and stuff like that. They're preschool shows and toddler shows, but I kind of miss them personally. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I could, in the privacy here in my own home, I would watch Sesame Street again. I still watch repeats of Sesame Street online on YouTube, but only at times, not all the time. There was also like Saturday morning cartoons. I remember Disney's One Saturday Morning. They used to have Sabrina the Animated Series of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I also loved. There was also Mr. Feeney. There was also on one Saturday morning they also had Recess. I liked Recess. They had Doug, which was the Disney version, not just the Nickelodeon version. The Nickelodeon version of Doug, I loved both versions of Doug. In fact, I watched it. It was Doug tells his story of what happened in his life. Very funny things happen. There's sometimes an adventure to it, an imagination and creativity to it. And it's entertaining for both kids of all ages and adults. For someone to come home to play outside in the yard all day and then come home and just watch Disney and watch Doug on a Saturday afternoon, it was a very calm, relaxing show. You just kick back and watch Doug. No pop culture dance party stuff. No button fart jokes. No twerking. It was just a calm, relaxing kid show. A cartoon kid show. I also missed how popular even though Pokemon's still popular to this day, I still miss the old Pokemon, which was actually a lot more popular, as well as like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball Z. I miss Naruto. There was also they had some kid-friendly and even some adults-only anime back in the old Toonami. But that went from 97 through 2008. Mm-hmm. And it changed along the way, but they took it off the air for a while, and they didn't bring it back until 2015. And that one doesn't come out until midnight. I miss Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack was a good show. Samurai Jack was pretty good. And you want to know something else, too? Whether you watched Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or Disney Channel, they used to always make it even more special when they had the game shows on Nickelodeon, such as like Double Dare and Finders Keepers and Nickelodeon Guts and Figure It Out. The classic Figure It Out, not the 2012 through 2013 version. Some great times on Fabulous, The Romeo Show. I liked Zoe, and Zoe 101 was pretty good as well. I used to watch Zoe 101. It was a calm, relaxing show about a bunch of boarding school teenagers or 20-some-year-olds. And I think it was both, actually. It was back like you want to know something, and also in the late they also had cartoons like L.T. Gray, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Chalk Zone. I liked Rugrats All Grown Up. It was Invader Zim, that one was a dark one. You know, it was that Vader Zim was very dark. It was funny, but at times annoying and intense. Mm. You know, it's just that sometimes I miss the 90s and 2000s television when it comes to kids channels. You know, I mean, there are still a couple of good shows today. Like there was Adventure Time and Regular Show and Amazing World of Gumball. And I heard people say that Steven Universe was good and Craig of the Creek and stuff. But I mean, I'm talking about shows. Most shows were like mostly like Uncle Grandpa, which I thought was going to be good, but really it wasn't. And you know, just think about it. You just think about it. You know, all those shows. Like back in the day, each of these channels existed, and they had like over 50 shows per network. And they used to have all these blocks and these movies and stuff. Tickle U was on Cartoon Network. They finally got a preschool show block between '03 and '05, '06 or whatever. You know, there's even shows like Robot Boy. I mean, like personally, my favorite show on Nickelodeon had to be Cat Dog. I even like that even better than SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron. Because I mean it was very adventurous, and in my childhood actually was like in my early to mid childhood was actually like I always saw Cat Dog as like the 90s and early 2000s version of Rocky and Bullwinkle, because Rocky and Bullwinkle was almost pretty much the same except they had a narrator and stuff. You know, I mean like there was still, and and they used to have 20th Century Classics on Cartoon Network as well. And I watched those, and they were pretty great. They were great. Many of them were. Mm-hmm. Many of those classic 20th Century Classic cartoons. I mean, I'm sorry I've been talking for like the past 32 minutes already. But you want to know something? It's just that I just feel this is how I feel. Like I also loved watching House of Mouse on Saturday morning. You know, Disney's one Saturday morning like had the House of Mouse, like the dinner club of pretty much all the Disney cartoons, watching all Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck cartoons of the present day. You know, I mean, childhood nostalgia means everything to me. All the music and movies and other types of sports and cartoons and TV shows and so on that modified with that pretty much went on to like that was on those channels, like it was just so great. And I used to always look forward to watching the cartoons and anime on Cartoon Network and on many of the Saturday morning kids cartoon blocks. I used to love Pokemon. I still do. I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh! I still do. I used to love Dragon Ball Z and Digimon and so on and so forth. I still do. They say we have a lot more unlimited access to it now. I mean, like, you want to know something? Nowadays, cartoons and kid shows, like, there's not a lot of variety. There's not even 10 shows per network, and the vast majority of them are very like trendy pop culture, and that's not that great. And some of them were even by the time 2010s came along, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network started copying off of DreamWorks and stuff like that, which I think was a terrible idea. I mean, like, it was. I mean, like, to all those 90s and early 2000s kids who actually missed their who actually missed the older shows, I'm just hanging in there. I mean, like, I love don't worry, I wish we can go back to that time too, but unfortunately we can't. And you want to know something? Like, unfortunately, like, for kids today, like, they don't really have a lot to offer these kids today. And, it's just that I really would, I feel bad for them. Like, I mean, yes, they have some good things today, which I try, which to defend my older argument in the 90s kid rant video. But it's just that, like, I'm just not ready. I'm just so, like, I'm upset that the kids today are not going to have much to remember on their networks as much as we, the 90s and 2000s kids, did. And as for you 90s and 2000s kids, if you really want to watch your older shows so badly, then don't look for them on specialized networks above channel 100. You'll probably get them. You probably won't. It comes on at weird times because because the networks are so focused on what's happening today that they're corrupting even their specialized channels. If that doesn't work for you, then either check YouTube or other sites on the internet, and maybe order yourself some DVDs or Blu-ray discs. I wouldn't say VHS but we don't have VHS anymore. Just do that if you really want to see these older shows again. It's not going to be the same as it was when it was airing on TV. But you want to know something? That's just it. Get some yourself, like, if you really want to see them again and feel like you're a kid again, get the shows either on DVD or look on the internet or specialized channels above channel 100 if they have them on there, because you're just not going to find any of these old 90s and 2000s shows again on modern television. I'm sorry, but you're just not. Well, anyways, this is Timotika tuning off, and before I get to that, I'm sorry about that. I want to say that I will probably bring this up again, many other future videos to come, even more ones that are more professionally made that I'm more verbally ready for. But until then, enjoy what you got right now. Well, that's it, you guys. This is Timotika tuning off, and I'll see you on the wild side.